Hello and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about the role, I guess, of the divine feminine once both the inner union within and the inner union or the energetic union with their divine masculine happens. So once it all happens, the divine feminine has a very important task. Well, I mean, they're all very important, but what is important right now, and if you're listening to it, then it's aligned with you, so there's something for you in it. You're maybe precise, this is maybe precisely what you're doing currently, but um you have to kind of stand your ground. And yes, you know this. You have been on this journey long enough to understand that, yes, in fact, you're always meant to stand in your power, stand in your sovereignty, right? Show the way. But it's not just that. And what I wanted to talk about today was not exactly that part, but more of what is it that you need to do. And I will say like this: if you um actually, I'm not. I was gonna go on a tangent, but I'm not. Listen, okay, so you are currently in the process of merging energetically with your beloved, with your divine counterpart, right? God-given spouse, however you wish to call that, or however you wish to call your counterpart. I didn't mean to make it sound like this, but I was just thinking about the journey that different people call it differently depending on their circumstances and kind of the experiences that they have been going through, right? But it doesn't matter. So what you're doing, or you what has happened, no, it's going to be more of a what has already happened to you and with you, is that you have merged energetically with your divine masculine. And it's amazing. Congratulations. It is beautiful because it is, because kind of take a look backwards and just see how much work you have done and just how high you have elevated and how much you have risen above and how much of the 3D density is no longer touching you, which is amazing. This is what freedom feels like. The more you embody it, the more freedom you will feel. Amazing. I love that for you. I love that for myself. And I wish that for everybody. But okay, so you you and your divine masculine have now merged energetically. And if you have listened to my previous video, I did talk about kind of what you may experience. And if you're experiencing it, then you're not crazy. I'm kind of just explaining what it is that it's happening, because a lot of information that is out there does not talk about what actually happens once you reach your inner union. There's a lot about how to do it and a lot of really good tips and tricks, not tricks, but a lot of help. There's available a lot of help how to get to inner union, but very little to none of what happens actually afterwards, because you do come to a moment where you have reached your inner union, you have reached your own inner balance, but it doesn't end there. It's not like, oh, okay, so my work here is done and I am not gonna do anything. No, that is kind of just the beginning, because yes, you have done like a huge amount of work during the preparation phase, or the separation phase as people call it. I just don't like to give any power to that word or to that concept because it's a silly concept. We're here to rise above it, so there's no need for us to kind of think of it this way, right? So during your preparation phase and in the past lives, what you have been doing is you have been doing the inner work so that you can raise your vibration, so that you can heal the wounds within you. You have been healing wounds for the collective, and you came to a point where that work is done. Not completely, but let's say to some degree. And then you have come into your own inner union. And I will say that my inner union was so beautiful and so freeing. Like, I don't have human words to describe it. And you're listening to this, so you know how that feels. Maybe you can describe it better. However, I will say that in my personal journey, that moment was such a short period of time. And then the work started again, but that is because of what my particular soul wanted to achieve in this lifetime. So I have been in my inner union now for quite some time, but like this really light and uplifted period of my existence, once I have reached my inner union and once I healed everything within me, has been very short, because it's actually been 2 human weeks, which just is like, a vacation pretty much, or like a trip somewhere. And then right away I got into the merging. So the merging was initiated. That is when I will say that is when my heart chakra, my higher heart, has been completely open. And that is kind of where I met my divine masculine. And this is where the merging work started. So this is when actual inner union started. It's just that this is not a process that takes let's say for our human selves, a short time. It's actually a process that does not take a night, it doesn't take a week, it doesn't take a month. It actually takes time, because what you're doing is, first of all, because you have come into the heart chakra, right? So the divine feminine goes through and heals through all of the lower chakras, right? She is meant to rise. So she will work through the root chakra, the sacral, solar, right? And then she will rise up to the heart chakra. And once she is in the heart chakra, that is where she meets her divine masculine energetically. That is kind of where things start to happening. And I will say that maybe I need to say this. To me, it kind of felt like my second awakening, because it's not that I wasn't aware of the things that were within me, or that I don't know, I had no idea what these things were. It just kind of felt like complete unraveling. So the first one was when I was awakened, and then the second one was once I have gotten to the heart chakra. That is actually where the merging starts between you and your divine counterpart, with divine masculine. I am speaking here to divine feminine. However, if you're divine masculine, welcome. I am happy to help anybody, whoever needs to hear it. If you want to learn, I am very happy to teach. So so in the heart chakra, right, the merging starts, and it's a process. So the healing still needs to happen, because what you're facing is the core of all the wounds within you, and you get to kind of touch, I hear, okay? You get to touch and feel how does the original separation wound, or I'm going to put it differently because it doesn't feel right to say. So how does the original separation from the divine feels like. And it's this never ending void of pain and abandonment and fear and just everything that is super, super dense. And it's so much that when you touch it, so like basically as if you were lowered into like dark waters of all of that pain, you are struggling for breath. Everything is just closing in on you and it's destroying you, because it is. But so that process happens and you are slowly working through that chakra. You're slowly working through all of that deep pain within you, these really deep wounds, whatever they are, right? Whether it's the core wounding, the ancestral wounding, whether it's like the collective wounding, you are working through all of that. But you are also working with your divine masculine energy. This is when the divine masculine awakens, because you jolt him awake, I hear. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, it's good to know. I have experienced that, but it's good to know to have maybe words to explain it, to call it something. And it is a mess. So because I apologize, my throat chakra is going through it. I'm pretty sure I'm working through my throat chakra now because there's just so much of this. So I apologize for my voice. I apologize if it gets raspy or I have to clear my throat. It's just what it is. So it's very messy because on top of all the core wounding that you yourself experience or have experienced, right? You're working through it. You are healing all of that. There's also your divine masculine that you feel like on a different level. It's not that you feel the presence of your divine masculine. It's more of this is like you feel their core wounding and kind of their really deep-seated issues. And it's such a blend of everything that it's very difficult to kind of name what is yours. Quotation marks of everything belongs to the two of you because you are one being, but it's more of like it's very kind of to pinpoint what belongs to the feminine human self and what belongs to the masculine human selves, right? So all of that needs to kind of be unraveled. It needs to be like worked through, released, and then you come to a certain point, because again it's like a heavy work. Obviously it's a spiritual awakening. This is what we are here to do. But then you have come to a point where that heaviness has been that heaviness has been residing. What I'm trying to say is the heaviness has been residing, so it has been like less and less of it, right? So it's been like moving away from you. Basically you have been rising above it. You have been transmuting it, whatever you needed to transmute, and you have left it behind. Yes, there's may still be some remnants, but it's not at all that heaviness that you have been experiencing. Because what has happened is that you have balanced out a lot of it. You have like within yourself, so you have healed the parts of yourself that needed healing, right? And released the everything that needed to be released. And where you are currently is your inner self has merged with your divine masculine's inner self. So what has happened, what has occurred is, and finalized, I hear, is the energetic union between you and your divine masculine. And this is kind of where the next step starts, right? The next part of the journey is that you have been learning during that preparation phase to stand tall like a tower. If you ever have been called to research about tower, not the tower card in the tarot, but actually what a tower means, what kind of spiritual meaning it has. The tower has been very prominent if you have been doing research about Mary Magdalene, or like the Mary Magdalene's cult in southern France, and not only, but a lot of times towers do not represent what a tower card in tarot represents. The meaning, the tower has been like a lighthouse. It has been a sign of like standing your ground in like a secure way. It has been like a sign of like a showing a light, but not in more of a way that a tower has allowed, like the tower was standing tall no matter what the surrounding area was, basically. And it has a lot more to it that I don't even remember right now, but I just wanted to clarify that I don't mean like a tower in the tarot card meaning. It's more of a, let's say, a lighthouse instead. So, you know, a lighthouse, they are usually very tall with a light on top, and they are usually a little bit out in the water, like in the ocean or the sea, because it's meant to guide the ships, right? Or in the past, before the modern navigation came to be, right? The lighthouses were the guiding light for seamen and the ships. So basically, this is what you're supposed to do. You have learned, right during that preparation phase, you have learned to stand on your own and stand tall. So stand in your power, be in your sovereignty, speak the truth, no matter how much of a storm it was on the outside, right, in your 3D reality. No matter the circumstances, no matter how much I cannot find the word right now, but so no matter what was happening, no matter like the attacks or the storms outside, right, let's continue with that analogy. So no matter what, no matter like how high the seas were, or like what storms, what winds, you were standing tall with that guiding light. And this is precisely what you are meant to do right now, because now that you have come to this place where you have risen above to a certain degree, to a certain frequency, and you have come to your own inner union, and you have activated the merging of you and your divine counterpart energetically. It's happening, right? It's been a process. It's finished now. But what you're learning right now and what you're working on is balancing out these energies within you without losing your head. Because what's happening with your divine counterpart is that your divine masculine, it's not that he is now awake, because your divine masculine has been awake for quite a bit now, and there will be, let's say, they have been awake to certain degrees during their own preparation phase, but it's not that they weren't aware. It's just that up to a certain point, because they are the divine masculine, and because they have that role in this connection, they have been running from themselves, right? They have been running away from the truth, from their own feelings, from your connection, right? They came to a point where they no longer can run, and it is not because of whatever their human self wishes or doesn't wish. It's just that their being, because they have been changing, they have been evolving alongside of you. It's just that they have been buried under so much more of these, let's say, negative patterns than you were, that they kind of are further back, but not because you're better. It's just that because they kind of started further back, but they have always been in motion, just like you. It even if it seems very stagnant for them, even if you feel that they kind of feel stagnant, or their energy kind of feels stagnant, it may, but it's just because they have been working through things that you don't have to work through. And so for you, it kind of seems that they have been standing still. They haven't. They have been working and moving forward all this time. It's just that they, like I said, their starting point has been further back than yours. And so when you kind of turn around and look back at them, they're still, or they have been kind of far away from you. And like, kind of no matter how much later you would turn around, they would still be kind of far away from you, right? Or behind you. But again, it's not because they actually are far away behind you. It's not that. It's just that they had to, again, work through things that you didn't have to. But that is because it wasn't part of your journey, because you are the feminine. Listen to it. If you're the masculine, you're welcome to learn. But then your divine masculine had to go through these things. They had to carry all of this crap, basically. So they had to work through all of this, and they have been, right? But because there was so much more around them, because there was a lot of more karmic imprints that they had to deal with, they could pretty much use these things to distract themselves alongside their other usual distractions from kind of looking at the connection with you, right? At their own feelings that they have felt and feel towards you, to all of the signs and synchronicities, because the universe, the divine, has been speaking to them and showing them that you are the person. But it, again, because it was so much things happening around them with everything else, basically, and within them, of course, they could kind of, they had a way to run away from the connection and kind of push it to the side, because there was so many other things were happening and they were working through so many other things. But now, because this is what I'm trying to get to, that now they have come to a point where there's nothing more to work through but their connection. So, well, not the connection itself, but like all the blocks within their connection to you, so within their own divine connection. And this is kind of where those high seas come from, right? The storms. Because yes, you have been pretty much left alone by your divine masculine. You have been left alone to your own kind of, you're doing your thing, right? And they were never meant to be part of it more than they were. They were, of course, part of it energetically. You guys are one being, so of course they're always part of you. But their human self kind of lets you be. Like, no matter what circumstances, no matter what situations, you are basically left on your own, because that was the whole point, because you were to learn to stand on your own two legs, in your power, very stable. You were learning to be very stable, to heal your energetic system, right? To heal your pain bodies, to find the balance within you. And now that is what you have to utilize. So this is now what you have to use. So you have to be that very firm, very secure tower, or well, let's go with the lighthouse. So the lighthouse, because you are the guiding light for them. You are the one that is standing firm. Some people call it anchoring. So yes, you are anchoring the union frequency, and you're the one actually holding it down. Well, down to the ground, right? So you're the one grounding the union energetically. You're the one that has to balance the energy of yourself, the polarities within you, and the energy of your divine masculine and their inner polarities. You are the one that has to balance it all out. If you have not heard my previous video, I gave analogy of you carrying a very heavy, very big bowl filled with water or some sort of fluid that is filled so much that it's almost spilling, and it's so heavy that you have a hard time kind of balancing out the bowl, right, so that it wouldn't spill. This is what you're doing. And so what is really crucial right now, and this is above you being codependent on your divine masculine, you're above like chasing him, because you're not. If you're listening to it, you're not. Yes, you have the desire to be with them because they are you, because they are your divine counterpart, and there's always a balance of two in the nature and everything in the universe. There's always a balance of the plus and minus. Not gonna get into it, but the desire within you, within your heart, it comes from your heart, and it's healed. It is not based in fear. It is not based in lack. So it's not about chasing, right? You desire to come together with your divine masculine because you love them, right? Because they're you, because the connection feels amazing, because they understand you, because they feel like home, because you are your own home and they are you. So what you're doing, what is really important right now, and even for your own sake, even if you are, let's say, still kind of in the energy of like, oh, I don't need them, I don't want them in my life, that's okay. You will probably get to that point eventually. If not in this life, it will be in the next one. Although if you're listening to it and you are merging, then you will get to it in this life. I can tell you this much. But again, like, even if you're not there mentally, if you will, if you're not there yet, because maybe there's still something within you that kind of tells you like, oh, well, they were treating me really badly and I don't want to go through it again. They will not do that ever again. You will not have to go through this again. However, what I'm trying to say is that what is crucial for your own sake, so that you again find balance within yourself, just the way you had to while you were in separation from your divine masculine. Even if you in the 3D currently you are still separate from them, it is just preparation. It is not a separation. That is really important. And if you are new to my channel, I tried to never call the separation phase or the separation for a separation, because it's not. We are supposed to rise above it and see it for what it is. It's preparation phase. It is basically your own time, your personal time to fix your personal issues before you get together with your beloved. And it's the same thing for them. So it's not separation because you're not separate again. So yes, so you are meant to stand really strong within yourself, within your own sovereignty, within your own power, and understand that all the waves that come crushing on your own lighthouse, like, right, you're the lighthouse, you're the guiding light, the North Star, or whatever you wish to call that. When the waves come crashing down on you, where you feel your divine masculine's energy of overwhelm or pain or betrayal or fear or anger or whatever it may be, you are meant to stand strong. You're meant to allow these waves to break on your body. So basically, you're meant to allow them to pass. You're meant to notice them, but from the seat of an observer. If you are into meditation, you understand what the seated observer is. If not, please Google it. I don't want to get into it. You're meant to observe that. You're meant to acknowledge it. And yes, if you feel that there's so much of it that you need to kind of allow the energy to let it out, then let it out creatively, or in a positive way. So please do not self-destruct. Do not punish yourself, because you're not allowed to. I'm saying this. You're not allowed to punish yourself in any way. You shouldn't be doing that to yourself, basically. Then do that. If you're guided to, I don't know, I a lot of times personally kind of will either cry because there's just so much energy and I will be overwhelmed and there's no other way for it to come out. But if I'm not like pushed to that like moment or like this kind of place within me where I will just cry because my body kind of gives up and there's just no other way, I will use whatever comes to me into cleaning. So basically I call it, I will power clean whatever it is. And I prefer doing this instead of like punishing myself or hating on myself or thinking badly about myself negatively, like, oh, I have relapsed in the healing or something. No. We are just meant to allow the energy to pass, to acknowledge it, and then come back to yourself. All your spiritual practices that you have basically polished during that preparation phase, whatever it is, you're meant to imply. This is your way of living. This is not you trying to spiritually soothe yourself, even though it kind of is that. You're meant to live by these principles. So if you take ritual bath, if you make, or if you do kind of any kind of rituals, right? If you journal, if you sing, if you listen to music, if you go for a run, you, I don't know, clean your house, you go to the gym, right? Whatever it is that helps you spiritually, that helps your soul, that helps your heart, you're meant to live by these things. You're meant to, this is your reality, or these things are meant to be your reality. It's not about you throwing yourself into, oh, I'm gonna mindlessly watch TV or read books or listen to music so that I don't have to think about these things, because you're not supposed to distract yourself. You're not supposed to numb yourself. You're supposed to be still in these feelings, meditate if you want to, do whatever you need, but allow for this energy to be there. Have compassion for yourself, and remember at every and any point in your existence that no matter what the 3D circumstances were, or you think that the 3D circumstances have been between you and your divine masculine, is that other human being, as faulty and as scared and hurt that person has been, and no matter how much hurt they kind of did to you, that other human being is you. It just looks a little different, it talks a different, and it's the opposite sex. Sometimes, I don't know if it's most times, but sometimes it is the opposite sex. I know of the divine feminine and masculine couples where they are same sex couples. It doesn't really matter. But that's what I'm trying to say. So remember, you are but you're meant to be who you are. Unapologetically, no matter what storms may arise, no matter how high seas, no matter how many waves crash on you, right? No matter how wobbly, because that's kind of how I experience it. The energy is very wobbly. It's basically like waves on the ocean. They kind of come all the time with different, in like a different cycles, but they always come, right? And allow that, because nothing that you are doing is wrong. And I'm here to say, if you were confused, I'm here to give you the clarity. You have done everything right. That is why you're here. That is why the merging between you and your own divine masculine energetically is finalized. It is done. You have achieved that. That is beautiful. That is wonderful. Enjoy that. It's a blessing. Now you just kind of have to learn how to live with it, how you you're basically walking on your wobbly legs, right? So you're basically just trying to learn now, learning how to kind of live with it, because you have to do this in order for the 3D reunion, your permanent 3D reunion, to occur. So thank you so much for being here. I really, really hope that the divine is going to send this message to whoever needs that. And if you have any questions, let me know. There's my email in the description section. If you want to leave a comment, please do. Otherwise, I thank you for today, and I will see you next time. Bye.